Hello everybody, in today's video we're going to be going over a potential major winter storm for portions of the Northeast. If you would like a personal forecast on the storm, leave a general area of where you are down below, so a city name, a state name, or a part of a state that you're in, and I'll kind of give you a little discussion on what I'm thinking for your area right now. We're not going to be giving you a snowfall forecast just yet because it is a bit too early for that. We're still about 5 days out and there's a lot of stuff that can still change within this forecast. There's a lot of moving parts. We're going to be breaking it down with the GFS model, the Canadian model, and the European model, and much more in today's video. So if you have any questions, leave a comment down below. I answer all of your comments for the most part. So again, I'll be giving you personal forecasts down in the comment section, and probably as we get to, I would say Monday and Tuesday, I'll probably have a snowfall forecast on this event. Now, here's the current National Weather Service page, and then we'll go into what the models are showing. And you can definitely tell it's quite wintry already. All those purple areas, those are winter weather advisories in the purple. So that's scattered about through portions of the western United States down through the southern plains. We made a video on that storm yesterday. We have another area from portions of the Midwest and the Great Lakes into portions of the Northeast, and especially into northern Maine, where you guys could be getting a little bit more snowfall, and even some winter storm warnings are in effect for portions of Oklahoma, Texas, Kansas, and also for another area in portions of Iowa, Illinois, and Michigan there, where you guys could be getting more than 4 to 6 inches of snowfall. We also see some more winter weather advisories for northern Alaska as well. We see some wind advisories for parts of the southwestern United States, and some dense fog advisories for portions of the Dakotas, as well as portions of southeastern Texas there. So let's start talking about what the models are showing. And before we do, I just want to show you guys who are a little bit skeptical about this storm. I am also a little bit skeptical. I'm not ready to put out official predictions just yet. I'm just going to go over the models with you guys, but this is the Weather Prediction Center's forecast for the storm, and their probability of getting about a 1/4 inch of liquid precipitation in the form of snow or sleet, which would be about 2.5 inches of snowfall. And this is 5 days out. Usually they don't put these big numbers up this far in advance, but they already have that 50 to 70% line getting fairly far to the south, and they already have an area of 70 to 90% chance of seeing over 2.5 inches of snowfall about. So this isn't just me. This is the official forecasters at the Weather Prediction Center. There's a lot of models talking about this storm, so I'm not just making this up out of nowhere. Now, let's also talk about what's happening in the upper atmosphere that's allowing this. So this is a couple thousand feet up in the atmosphere, and let's look at what's really allowing this. We're going to have this high pressure, which is up further to the north. We see this high pressure that's going to move further to the east into Quebec, and that's going to be bringing in some very cold air within a northwest flow. So that's going to be bringing in some of that colder air from the north into parts of the northeast. Now, we also see that little low pressure system down here. This would be by Monday, by the way. We see a low pressure system down in Arkansas, Mississippi, Tennessee, and that's going to be heading up the coast. Now, some models want to bring another system out from east of Florida there and bring this up the coast again. That would not really affect too much, except for the intensity of the storm. That would increase the intensity of the storm, and that would actually produce more snowfall for these areas. So definitely, there's a lot of moving parts with this system, and we still are yet to figure out what exactly is going to be going on with this event. Now, here is the surface map for Tuesday, December 15th, and we're looking at low pressure out in portions of the Dakotas into portions of Nebraska, Kansas, and Oklahoma, where you're looking at a little bit of precipitation. We see that cold Arctic high pressure system getting in place. Again, that's going to move further to the east over time. So this is by Tuesday, and that's your first system. This is your system that's going to be moving across portions of the Northeast. So here's what the GFS does. It brings the system through portions of the Mississippi River Valley, and then it intensifies it over the Tennessee Valley. And then let's zoom in on the Northeast and see what it does here. So we see Wednesday, probably right around 7 in the morning, we're looking at snow according to the GFS, and this is just one model prediction, but the models have been surprisingly consistent with this event, showing pretty much the same area over the coastal Northeast and then back through the interior Mid-Atlantic, getting a fair amount of snowfall out of this. So Again, this is by 7 a.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday. Here would be by 1 p.m., and that snow is heading a little bit further to the north, now into portions of upstate New York, New Jersey, much of Pennsylvania by this point. And then here would be by right around 7 p.m. on on Wednesday, December 16th, and we're looking at heavy snow right along that rain-snow line transition, and we have that nor'easter developing off the coast of Virginia and North Carolina that's going to move up into portions of just south of southern New England there, and it's going to kind of move into this area, and that's usually the prime spot if you want a coastal snowstorm. Usually you want to get to about 40 degrees north and about 70 degrees west on latitude and longitude to get a perfect nor'easter, and it's going to be right around that general region. So we definitely have all the ingredients for a big snowstorm. Now, here would be by 1 a.m. on Thursday, and here would be by 7 a.m. on Thursday, and you can see we have some very heavy snowfall falling over southern New England by this point, especially as you get closer to the coast, and then the system pushes up into the Gulf of Maine, and you're starting to see that system really move out into Nova Scotia and into southeastern Canada there. So here's what the Canadian model is showing for this storm. We're looking at, again, some scattered snow showers over portions of the Central Plains. Here's your low pressure down here in Texas, and that's going to be heading over to the east. Now, notice what you also see here. You see a developing low pressure system off the coast of Florida. Now, that is going to kind of merge with this one. So as this one is heading up the spine of the Appalachians and moving into the Mid-Atlantic, this one's also going to pull away to the north, and they're going to kind of converge somewhere over the Mid-Atlantic, according to the Canadian, and the European model also shows this, and then become an even stronger storm than what the GFS is showing, because the GFS doesn't even show this little low pressure system developing. Now, here to be by Wednesday right around 1 a.m. Or this we'll use Central Time for this, so this would be right around 12 a.m. And then here would be for Eastern Time, this would be right around 7 a.m. Eastern Time, and we're looking at some snow breaking out on that northern end of this. Now let's zoom in on the northeast, and you see it's already a fairly similar pattern. The Canadian model is actually bringing a little bit more ice and wintry mix for portions of Virginia and North Carolina. That's still something that's going to be something we have to really figure out within the next 72 hours before the storm occurs. Now, the system continues to head further to the north and to the east. Heavy snow, according to this, right along that I-95 corridor from about Baltimore to New York City by this point is where you're seeing that snowfall. And then the heavy snowfall, what the Canadian model wants to do is bring one really heavy band of snowfall where you could maybe get 2 or 3 inches per hour, and then kind of pull that snow band to the north. And then behind there, you maybe see your half an inch to an inch of snow per hour snowfall band. So you're going to see, probably, if the Canadian is correct, one big area of snowfall that's very, very heavy, and then it goes back to a much weaker system and a much lighter snowfall. And then that system continues to head out further to the north, and this would be by Thursday right around 7 a.m. and then here would be by 1 p.m. and that system is pretty much all said and done with. A little bit of flurry activity through portions of New England, but other than that, there's not a lot other than that after about Thursday afternoon. Now, here's what the European model is showing for this event. So you see that system out in portions of the Great Lakes, or the lower Great Lakes, and into the Tennessee Valley and the central Mississippi River Valley, and that system is going to push away further to the east. Be careful if you live within western North Carolina, western Virginia, southern West Virginia. There could be a little bit of mixing issues, especially with the elevation differences, so that's definitely something that you want to keep in mind, and definitely make sure that you are prepared for that. Maybe ice down your driveway, or ice down the salt down the driveway, salt down the sidewalks, just so that not that much ice actually forms, because we could be dealing with a freezing rain event if this were to be correct. Now, this would be by Wednesday right around 1 p.m. and that system is heading into the northeast. We see heavy snowfall back through the interior Mid-Atlantic, so for western Virginia and eastern West Virginia, you're looking at some of that heavy snowfall. Now, as we focus into the northeast, you start to see that heavy snow through portions of Pennsylvania, Maryland, West Virginia, and then you see some ice developing along that rain-snow line. Now, that system starts to wrap around itself. Some of that cold air comes in on that backside and transitions a lot of that rain into snow as you get into portions of Delaware, Maryland, and southern Pennsylvania. And then for much of the rest of the Northeast, you guys are dealing with fairly moderate to heavy snowfall in a lot of cases. This would be by Thursday right around 7 a.m. Here's by 1 p.m. On Thursday, and we're looking at still that moderate to heavy snow lingering around, and the European model really stalls the system out. Then as we get to right around Thursday, 7 p.m., the system is heading out into portions of the Gulf of Maine and into Nova Scotia, that general region, and all that's left behind is a couple of flurries. Now, here's what the European model shows for its snowfall. We'll start off in the Northeast, and then we'll look at the Great Lakes view of this. We're looking at anywhere in the grays, under an inch to 2 inches, 2 to 6 inches in the blues, 6 to 10 inches in the purples. In the pinks, that's 10 to 20 inches in kind of that more vibrant pink. But then as you get into that lighter pink, that's where you're 20 to 30 inches, and then 30 to 40 or more inches in those lighter blues. And we see a couple of those 30 plus inch amounts. Now, take caution with this because the models are going to overestimate this storm early on, and then as we get closer to the event, they're probably going to regulate it. Probably they're going to half these amount or so. So don't expect a 35-inch snowstorm. Expect maybe in some isolated areas 18 to 24 inches. So still a lot, but don't expect 35 inches of snowfall. This is the models over-exaggerating it with the hyperactive pattern that we're in. They're just over-exaggerating the snowfall. So definitely take these with a grain of salt. This definitely is going to change. Now, here's what it looks like if you look and zoom out into the Tennessee Valley and the Ohio Valley. So a couple of areas getting 2 to 5 inches in those regions, but nothing too major. Now here's what the GFS model shows for that same region, and we're looking at 2 to 5 inches scattered through Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and then as we zoom in on the Northeast, you start to see more of those 12 plus inch amounts. And I think this is a little bit more accurate, but I do think these amounts are still a little too high. I don't think you'll see as many 2 foot plus areas as the GFS is showing. I think 2 feet plus is going to be regulated to some of those higher elevations. So I think at the maximum 18 to 24 inches for this event. It's still going to be a big event, but not as big as what you're seeing with some of these snowfall maps. Now here's what the Canadian model shows. Let's zoom out and then we'll zoom back in. We see some of that heavier snow for portions of Oklahoma and Kansas, and then another area of snowfall as you get further to the east. Now, so here's what the Canadian model is showing for the Northeast, and we're looking at anywhere in those greens, 12 to 24 inches of snowfall. So that area of 1 to 2 feet is generally right between Baltimore and about Providence, Rhode Island there. So somewhere in between, I would say, northern Virginia and I would say probably right around eastern Massachusetts. This general region is going to be your bullseye. A lot of the models are eyeing up this region. It's how much snowfall and when will this occur and how long does this low pressure sit over the same area. Now, something else that I want to point out here, your temperatures are going to be very, very cold. So this is not going to be one of those snowfalls where you see snowfall and then the next day it's 60 degrees or something crazy like that. This is going to be one of those prolonged cold events because that snow is definitely going to cool down the lower levels of the atmosphere, and you might not get up above about 40 degrees in many of these areas until you get to about the 21st. So this is going to be probably snow that's sticking on the grass and on those paved surfaces for about 3 or 4 days or so. So these will be your low temperatures for Friday. Now here are your low temperatures for Saturday, and you're seeing a little bit more of those negatives and those single digits pop up and those teens pop up as well. Now here would be by Sunday, and you see it's still it's getting warmer, but still you have that snowpack in place where you're getting your low temperatures down into the teens and 20s, while the surrounding areas are in the 30s that didn't see snowfall. For example, in the Ohio Valley, you guys didn't see as much snowfall or aren't forecasted to see as much snowfall, and you guys are seeing high or low temperatures in the mid 30s. So definitely anywhere that does see a major accumulation is going to be much colder than surrounding areas. And here's by Monday, and we're still looking at some more of those colder temperatures. This would be by the 21st of December. Now, here are your maximum temperatures, your high temperatures. So even these aren't going to be that high. Here would be by Friday, and high temperatures aren't even getting above 32 in many of these regions. Now, here would be by Saturday, and we're looking at temperatures still not getting out of the 30s or even the lower 30s in many of these regions. It really starts to warm up as we get to Sunday. Maybe you get a couple 40s mixed in there, but generally it's going to stay in the 30s, and then here would be by Monday, and still you're looking at some scattered upper 30s, but also you're dealing with a little bit more of those 40s mixed in, so maybe a little bit warmer as you get to Monday. Still, this is going to be one of those snowfalls that accumulate, and one of those snowfalls that are probably going to stick around for a while. If this were to verify, we're only about 5 days out by this point, so there's not too much room for change. It's not like you're going to see some major change in the forecast. It's going to be these tiny details that come together to piece the puzzle together, and that really help us figure out what exactly will happen with this event. So if you did enjoy this video, if you do want more of this type of content, please consider liking the video, subscribing, and turning on notifications. It really helps the channel. As well, if you would like a personal forecast or generally just a discussion of me talking about what I'm looking at in the models, what's favoring more snow, what's favoring less snow, then leave a comment down below with a general area, so what part of the state you're in, what city you're in, anything that would really help me like pinpoint what area to give you a forecast for. That would definitely be useful for that. So I'll see you guys in the next video, and again, please consider liking the video, subscribing, and turning on notifications. Goodbye.